Welcome back at the end of what has ultimately been a very frustrating day for England, and one which Pakistan will tonight think has delivered them the brushes and the paint for the whitewash. Are they right? Let's find out now in the verdict. Batting sanity restored as Pakistan take complete command. A Younis masterclass stops the rod as he gets his 20th Test century. There's also sterling work from his young apprentice. Azhar Ali makes 75. Together they put on an unbeaten 194 for the third wicket as England lose the wicket-taking nap. It's Pakistan's day, and that 3-0 series scoreline is very much on. Right. Let's try and analyse how it is Pakistan have got to where they are, and also what lessons England can have learned. It's not difficult to work out how Pakistan have got where they are. They've got there because Younis has played an absolute blinder. Yeah, supported brilliantly by young Azhar Ali, but mainly it's been Younis Khan. It's been an absolutely superb display of playing on low wickets, low turning wickets, display of footwork, balance, shot selection, the whole thing. It's been absolutely superb from him. Right, OK, what we've done is we've picked out various aspects of his game for the boys to talk about and analyse and sort of shed a bit of light on. First of all, Younis in defence. What's to be learnt from here?
Well, he's in total control the whole time in everything he does. So he has something called the forward press, which we'll see in just a minute. All his movements are very, very smooth. He presents a full face of the bat. He gets outside the line of off-stump so the DRS does not come into use for the off-spinner. But to me, his movements are in sync with when the ball arrives. And against a spinner, which may sound strange, against a spinner, you have to move a lot quicker than you do against a quicker bowler, which a lot of people watching may find strange. Right, OK, just talk to me about this business of the forward press, because it was something that Duncan Fletcher was big on, therefore England should know all about it. Yeah, it was a real throwback watching Younis play, because basically the forward press is something to get your momentum going towards the bowler, get your weight onto the front foot, and the key to it is to do it very, very early. Get that first movement in early, and that gives you the chance then to go a second time. To then really get out towards the pitch of the ball. And I think we'll see it on the split screen. We've chosen a couple of really good examples here. So on the left here, you're seeing Younis Khan. He's made a forward press already. He goes again, he's in position. And there, before the ball has arrived, look at that. Full face of the bat. His head is right over the ball. More importantly, his bat is in front of his pad. Therefore, there's no chance of getting LBW because he's looking to hit the ball. Unless he misses it. Well, yes, but the bat is always on line because his bat has got in front of his pad because of his initial movement, and therefore, when he plays the ball, he doesn't have to panic. And that is the thing, do not panic. Right, but he's got his bat out there, fine with that, but what happens if the ball turns? Is he then able to sort of just... Yeah, because his bat is in front of his pad, if it does change direction, spins, he can go with it. Right. Whereas if his bat gets stuck behind his pad, he can't get at the ball. Yeah. So it's very important, you'll hear the batsmen talk about, make sure you get your bat in front of your pad, which is what Younis Khan has done throughout this innings. Right, that's Younis. Also very close to the pitch there as well, unbelievably close. So the ball hasn't got much room to turn past him. But if we have a look at Kevin Peitersen here, we talk about an early forward movement, early press. Just roll that on. Rahman's still got the ball in his hand, Peitersen hasn't moved, and the ball's halfway down the pitch. Now, people will talk about Kevin Peitersen saying he plays across the line of the ball. However, this shot shows you that it's not the fact that his bat isn't straight, it's absolutely perpendicular here at the moment. The only problem is the ball's gone past him already. He's late. The ball has got through him and is about to hit him on the pad before he's expecting impact with the bat. Now, we just roll it on a little bit further. Just keep rolling it on, just get it to move forward for me. And we'll show you. Right, that's where he expects to make impact. Suddenly the bat comes diving across his body because he realises he missed it. And you see how far away the ball is from him. That's how late he is. He's probably about a metre late in making his first movement, which means that he's a lot more upright, his front leg isn't as bent, he's nowhere near as close to the pitch of the ball. So if you have those two comparisons there, one perfectly safe and perfectly good way to combat the DRS and play defensively,
on the left with Younis Khan, then you've got the reason that Kevin Peitersen is getting himself, and a lot of the other England batsmen for that matter, getting themselves into trouble on the right-hand side.
And I don't know if we can just go back to that shot one more time, because there's just one interesting thing to look at, and that is where the relative heads are, because while Kevin Peitersen is looking at his foot, Younis is looking at the ball.
Yeah, but also, look, and you're exactly right, Charles. Just look how far forward, though, Younis Khan, this big stride there. Now, he's about 5'11". Kevin Peitersen is 6'3". Peitersen is very upright, as Mark has just said there. As the ball has hit Petersen's pad, his bat is still a good 6 inches behind his pad, so he can't get at the ball any shape or form, and that is why, if we roll it on again, the bat eventually comes across his front pad, because that's the only moment when he thinks he can get at the ball.
And I don't quite see how Kevin Petersen's looking at the ball there, while Younis obviously is.
He's looking down the pitch.
He had to look down because he's lost his balance now. Younis is absolutely, I know it's a frozen frame, but Younis is absolutely stock still when that ball hits his bat. Kevin Peitersen is still moving.
Yeah,
Kevin Peitersen is still moving.
Younis Khan could stay in that position for an hour or so because it's perfect balance. Whereas Kevin Peitersen,
he can on a freeze frame.
He can. Yeah.
It might not do much for the over rate. Let's move on.
But to sum it up, just to sum it up, Younis Khan in total control. That was the thing. No panic.
Right. Brilliant defence. Now we'll look at him just sort of dinking it around and just scoring runs, which England have found impossible to do against the spinners. They get marooned maiden after maiden, but Younis here, he's finding places to score. There aren't big shots, these.
No, but again, it's because he plays the ball so late. He's in a perfect position. He allows the ball to come onto him, so he's playing it underneath his eye line. He's not chancing his arm. He's not allowing the ball to spin, and he manoeuvres the ball around the field into the gaps easily. Not just does he get the singles, but through getting a single, he rotates the strike, so he doesn't get stuck down one end to allow the bowler to get into a rhythm.
And we can now just bring up, again, an England example of somebody trying to do that and it going horribly wrong, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, we'll show poor old Alistair Cook in the second innings in the last Test match. Once again, he's moving far too late, not big enough, he doesn't make a big enough movement, he makes it far, far too late, and then at the end has to flick his hands at the ball violently to try and nudge it into a gap. Now, Younis Khan never had to flick his hands hard at the ball whatsoever, because he was in place early. All he did was just open the blade of the bat and allow the ball to run off the bat into a gap. And that's all because, once again, I'll go back to it again, it's because his initial movements are very, very early and they're very, very definite. And then from there, he can then decide what to do.
I suppose the last sort of question which a layman might say is, if you're talking about making these movements early, doesn't that then lead to planting and not being able to move to where the ball is actually pitched?
No, because his initial movement is a definite one, but it isn't the only movement he makes. He's trying to get his weight to go forward, so he makes a forward press. He presses long before the ball comes out of the bowler's hand, and then he's able to go again once he's picked the line of the ball.
That's the important thing, to be able to go again.
Yeah.
Right, OK, so he's got himself in, fantastic defence, he's then played the little dinks, and then after that comes the icing on the cake, because he mullers it to all parts.
and this is why you get rewarded, because of the hard work you've put in when you first got to the crease, you've manoeuvred it around. The bowlers are starting to become a bit desperate, and when you can play shots like that, how do you bowl to him? I'm afraid England didn't have any answers at all. I mean, he is just a wonderful player, 20 Test match hundreds. Look at that. I mean, the sweep, he's had the slug sweep, and here, that is just perfect timing. Strong wrists, but found the gap.
And it was interesting. England started to try and chase the wicket, and it didn't work out. So, question for Younis at the close of play was, how come everybody else has struggled and you haven't? What's your secret?
Actually, if you see all the last two games, especially in the first inning as well, the batsmen, they have the starters, but they can't make it to the Big Ten, and I was think about that. If I threw something 50 or 60, I will go all the way for a big 100, and I will play on my style, especially the sweep and reverse sweep, and play some more aggressive. So I think the batsmen just miss that emotion at the moment.
Brilliant stuff then by Younis Khan, and he and Azhar Ali have really set up a fantastic platform for England. Let's just, for Pakistan rather,